The solemnity of Christ the King is the declaration of Christ as the King of the universe. This feast ends the Catholic liturgical calendar of the year. It was instituted by Pope Pius XI in the year 1925 to celebrate the Jubilee year and the 16th centenary of the Council of Nicaea. While proclaiming this feast, he declared Christ as the only King of peace and Prince of peace when he proclaimed, Par Christi in Reino Christi. This feast was also established in the Pope's encyclical Quas Primus, written in the wake of the moral devastation of the First World War and during the rise of the dangerous nationalism, to reassert the sovereignty of Christ and the Church over all forms of government, noting that the kingship of Christ encompasses all aspects of our lives, political, personal, temporal, and eternal. Secondly, to remind Christians of the fidelity and reality they owe to Christ, who, by his incarnation and sacrificial death on the cross, had made them both adopted children of God and future citizens and heir of the kingdom of heaven. Jesus is King of the universe because he is God. Jesus existed from all of eternity. He is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Jesus as God holds dominion over all of creation. His kingship is founded upon the hypostatic union when he took on humanity. What is the significance of this feast to us today as Christians? It is still the reminder, the reassurance, and the reassertion of the kingship of Christ over all forms of government, authority, and kings in our present world, characterized by all forms of injustice, corruption, materialism, embezzlement of commonwealth, totalitarianism, dictatorship, secularism, inhuman treatment, and self-centeredness. In all this, Christ is still more powerful than any earthly king. Christ is the sovereign king whose kingdom is one of everlasting love. He is the king who lays down his life for his sheep. According to Cyril of Alexandria, Christ has dominion over all creatures, a dominion not seized by violence nor usurp, but by his essence and by his nature. Jesus' kingship is one that represents salvation, one that annihilates hatred and evil. He does not want to control us, rather, he wants to save us. Jesus is a king with saving and liberating mission, freeing us from all forms of bondage and servitude, enabling us to live peacefully and promising us an eternal inheritance. Today, Jesus is throwing an invitation to us all to allow him come into our lives to reign as King. Allowing Jesus reign as King in our life is to allow him be the center of all we are and do. To let him live in us and we in him. Dying to self and allowing ourselves being crucified with him on the cross, that we may say like St. Paul, I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. When Jesus lives in us, we become life giver, love giver, peace giver, justice giver. Hatred, envy, jealousy, and all forms of evil and wickedness remain far from us. So, let us open the door of our hearts to him, that we may welcome him and not reject him like the people of his time. We still hear that cruel rejection of him in the way we live our lives, the way we badly relate with others, in our unfaithfulness, our insincerity, and our inordinate quest for power, The solemnity of Christ the King has an eschatological dimension, pointing to the end of time, when the kingdom of Jesus will be established in all its fullness to the ends of the earth. It leads us to the Advent season, when the church anticipates the second coming of Christ. May the celebration of the solemnity of Christ the King gain for us the strength in the true kingship of Christ, and may we recognize Him as the sovereign King, emulating His total gift of self, perfectly embodied